Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are once again out here at Tremonia that actually needs to be renamed. Where's rename vessel? Probably be up here, right? Rename vessel, there we go. Because I don't know how any of this happened. And let's make sure it's flagged as a station. Accept. Right, there we go. And now we need to undock our crew because they're going to make their descent down to Rosalina Memorial Station. Let's check this. Undock. I did top off the Lunar Uber 2 and make sure its life support was all set and then everything there was looking good. No, I did not want to time warp. I wanted to go to the map view. So we need to plot our landing approach down to Rosalina Station. We'll try to come in as low as we can. What? No, 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 no. Stop, 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 stop. Do not warp to here. Come on. Who does that? Really? Great. Well, at least we were undocked for the most part. I honestly would have liked the opportunity to move this node a lot lower or earlier in the orbit because we are kind of high and we'll have to correct for our inclination. KSP, you're killing me here, Smalls. At least we're somewhat clear of the station. 13 minutes to go. Yeah, we should be in high thrust mode. 53 meters per second to round out our approach. Let's shut down our MagiCore and toggle solar and comms. Oh, no. How about Agena activate so that we can have avionics back? Good times. Alright, and now let's just warp into this node a little bit. Just, you know, fine, here we are. Whichever. Alright, 1 minute out. I probably should have done this a little easier, but high thrust mode shouldn't take very long to make very quick work of this. I wonder why we only have one engine gimbaling. That's interesting. Yeah, still only one engine gimbal. He's locked? Is that by design? Yeah, gimbal locked. Interesting. I'm probably screwing a bunch of things up that is has voided my warranty. You know, whatever. Alright, ullage. Ullage. Ignition. And shut down. Probably should have brought this nav ball up. Yeah, 0.5 meter per second, no big deal. Come on, KSP. There you go. Kill that node. Bring ourselves around, and let's see what we're looking at for our braking burn. 38 minutes. It's probably not exactly going to be here, but we'll get a good reading on things at least. Yeah, 1700 on the button, which at full bore is a 6-minute burn. Hard to tell, really. So let's see how far off course we can get. Alright, looks like we do need to correct south. Yeah, so first let's kill both nodes, add maneuver. Adjust our approach a little bit there. We'll just go ahead and take care of this now. Sooner the better. Looks pretty good. Nine minutes out from that. Oh boy. Come on. altitude will be 28 kilometers, so we've got some fussy room here. And now into the sped up bits that will make up for the vast majority of the descent. With our node plotted 1,702.8 some odd meters per second on our braking burn, we'll get pretty much right on top of it, and then fire all 5 engines. If you haven't noticed, we have 3 thrust modes on this craft. Min thrust, which is 1 engine, high thrust, which is 4 engines, max thrust, which is all 5. We'll be operating mostly on all 5 until we start to clean up our approach a little bit, and then of course we will be making the final descent on a single engine, which is actually designed to have less than 1 TWR, with the aid of the super powerful thrusters also included on it, which account for about 40% of an engine thrust. We can pretty much zero it out to near 1 and at least get a very controllable descent. Now, albeit this was plotted for far more efficient descent profiles than I am ever capable of, so we'll just have to see how well that works out. A few more corrections this time to the north. Apparently we overcorrected to the south, because I don't think the moon has rotated that much underneath us to warrant a 5 or 6 meter per second corrective measure, but our target, anti-target vector and our actual retrograde vector seem to be kind of lined up. We just need to buy ourselves enough time to get there. Although it'd be really nice if we could not push Apoapsis out ahead of us. Sometimes we really just don't have a choice. If we actually want to get ourselves over the target instead of landing many kilometers short of our destination. Just a quick check on our fuel levels and see where things are. I'd like to get the fuel low and centered if at all possible, so we'll drain it from that nose cone into our side tanks, which really the lower we can keep the center of mass on this thing, the less likely I am to topple it over, in theory. So our descent profile looks pretty good. It looks like we'll be coming down right on top of the target. I did want to check that versus our targeting reticle. That says it's about 7 kilometers high, which doesn't give us a whole lot of headroom for which to either not fall short or overshoot, but with all 5 engines firing, we should be in pretty good shape. Surprisingly enough, they did need to be ullaged in for this burn. I guess they always do in some regard. So only 500 meter per second left on this burn. We will be making eyeball adjustments here. I do kind of use the nav ball for this, but it does look like we're a couple of tenths of a degree off our target, and at this altitude that's really easy to correct. We just gotta lean into it a little bit. Now in high thrust mode, only 4 engines active. We are still topping at a near 4 thrust to weight ratio, which must be interesting for the crew inside. Preparing to switch to min thrust once I'm certain that we can actually put ourselves over the target. So very convinced we're falling a little short here. We'll just make a couple of quick tap burns to bring ourselves overhead, and then switch into single engine mode. A few more corrections just to put that retrograde vector over our, I guess, anti-target. I'm actually not sure what the correct name for that indicator is, but it also doesn't help that I'm kind of off-center. Yeah. It would really help if I aligned my planes, I guess, so that I'm not operating from an angle, walking into another angle. Yeah. So small corrective measures here and there. Full throttle on a single engine does let us slow our descent, however, a little bit at a time. So it looks like I was a little too eager on this burn, but we did have to make corrective measures anyway. So, you know... Maybe it just couldn't quite be avoided. And now here's the really cool part. I can adjust my landing vector using translational controls on the thruster ports, and that just blew my mind apart. I'd never even thought of using, well, I guess thrusters that are powerful enough to do that, and enough of them to make it actually worthwhile. But that does mean that fine-tuning on a landing site is a whole lot easier with this, because we don't have to pitch the spacecraft over and use the engine to adjust our final landing location. We can just do it with these thrusters while coming straight down. which is absolutely fantastic on so many levels. It does look like my targeting was a little too good, if I do say so myself. And we were going to land on top of either the rover or our resupply pod, so I've made some kind of corrective errors and trying to get this as close to the extra fuel tank as I can, although not on top of the research station proper would likely be best. And then a few more little corrections as we just kind of bleed off speed. This is where it did start turning into a pulse firing, and then yeah, you can clearly see how much we can affect our landing location just by thrusters alone. It also would help if we could get the landing legs folded out. Oops, yeah. And then come in for a nice and gentle touchdown. That's pretty textbook. That was an absolute delight to fly. I just hope it stops before a landing gear snaps off inside the wheel of our rover that we have no replacements for. Can we skid this a little bit, maybe? Thruster's powerful enough to do this. Maybe probably not uphill. Maybe? Come on, come on. We all know how prone landing legs are to, incidents. Aha, perfect. That's even better, honest to God. Nope, okay, we can't rotate, so let's just let it come to rest here. Fantastic, we'll just move the port from this side to that side to connect to our fuel depot. But, hey, that looks pretty good. And, maybe we can get rid of our Victor pod. Oh no, because it's got a bunch of life support in it. That's right. Alright, well, let's get our engineer out and get some of the jobs here done. We should probably ladders. Ladder singular, whichever, no big deal. Alright, Wagner, EVA. Please tell me you brought your drill. Fantastic. Equip. And we'll just hook this in, dump some fuel in it, and then unhook it. Just, cuz. No, do not, no. No. Let's just go get a port from over here. That'll be far easier to do. Core overheating. Shutting down. Alright, that should be close enough. Anytime now. There we go. Link. Right through the helmet. And now the obviously most exciting part that I know all of you have been eagerly anticipating this entire time. Resource transfer. We should have enough fuel down here to at least get the Uber back into orbit. We're like 1.8 kilometers per second left in the tanks, which we'd probably get that close to 2 if we dumped a whole bunch of life support and absolutely nailed our ascent profile for direct rendezvous with Tremonia Station. However, I'm just not that good. We also do have the big fuel tank, or the little fuel tank on the Victor resupply pod is nearly completely full, so we'll just siphon off all of that, dump what we can into the Uber 2, and transfer really the rest of it into the base, which is not actually fuel, just a abundance of nitrogen tetroxide, I think, or Aerosine 50, but not both. We certainly didn't have both. And then it's time to get the crew to their station and let them start researching. We'll also disconnect the supply tube in the most unorthodox means ever, but it does reset part routing, which is great, and its intention. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.